Now, talking about lefties losing it, remember this chat before the election featuring TDS duo actor Robert De Niro and TV host Bill Maher?
If he wins the election, you won't be on the show anymore. He'll come looking for me. There'll be things that happen that none of us can imagine. That's what happens in that kind of a dictatorship, which is what he says. Let's believe him. Take him at his word.
I did from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I said from the very beginning, this guy is never going to concede power.
A dictatorship? Well, no one has come for Robert De Niro, and Bill Maher is still on TV. And now he will be meeting President Donald Trump at the White House. This has been set up by one of Maher's recent guests and one of Trump's friends, rock star Kid Rock.
In one of the most unexpected political maneuvers in recent history, it was reported that comedian and television personality Bill Maher, who is renowned for his witty banter and relentless criticism of Donald Trump, will meet with the former president at the White House. People of all political stripes have expressed strong feelings in response to the announcement, partly because none saw this match coming. Maher has long been seen as a cornerstone of liberal opinion, and for years, his HBO show Real Time with Bill Maher has offered a platform for scathing critiques of Trump's administration and political movement. This upcoming sit-down is a moment full of irony because of his clear disdain for what he once called the MAGA cult and his earlier warnings about Trump's authoritarian tendencies. Even more curious is the person who reportedly set up the meeting. Kid Rock, an avowed Trump supporter and musician who has appeared on Maher's program and has obviously served as a strange go-between for these two influential media personalities. The idea of Maher going into the same arena as Trump, let alone doing so voluntarily, has aroused interest, speculation, and critical analysis among political commentators, particularly on the right. When you check it out, you're jacking zero. It's a suitable theology.
What do you think about this? I've got to say, I am not a fan of this plan.
Rita, I don't trust Bill Maher, to put it mildly. I mean, the same way that I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg and a lot of these California liberals who are increasingly in Donald Trump's good graces. Having said that, even though I don't trust him, I'm not sure that it's a politically bad move for Donald Trump. There's very little in the way of downside here. Frankly, there's only potential upside. I disagree with him on more issues than I agree with him on there, but he is very anti-woke. There are some things that he's potentially amenable to the Trump administration's message on, and more importantly, he's got a massive audience. I mean, he has an absolutely massive audience. His show has won God knows how many Emmy Awards here in the United States. He has genuine reach there. Just kind of colloquially speaking here in my circles there, people watch his show. I mean, his message gets out there. So if Donald Trump can kind of bring him in, and if Bill Maher can at least become slightly less hysterically Trump derangement syndrome induced, I'm not getting my hopes up for that, by the way. But if there's any possibility of that happening there, seems like it's worth it to me. Again, I don't trust the guy there, but I see very little in the way of downside for this plan.
Let's talk about the underlying concepts, because there is a lot going on beneath the surface of this bizarre Donald Trump-Bill Maher scenario. The idea of Trump derangement syndrome is first brought to light when Maher is attacked for failing to see Trump clearly, even if he agrees with some of his positions. Even while Trump is content to spend his days attacking the left, he appears to be experiencing a mental block. That duality, in which Maher's massive platform is both praised and attacked, sets the tone for a broader conversation about media, bias, and cultural impact. While acknowledging his importance, conservatives in the discussion argue that he still propagates left-wing beliefs, whether he realizes it or not. The debate's most fascinating element is the idea of a political realignment, a shift away from the conventional left versus right divide and towards something more like common sense against woke craziness. The fact that former Democrats like RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard are now endorsing more conservative or populist beliefs only serves to bolster that case. A strange meeting of political opposites seems to be a sign of something deeper, a change. In culture and philosophy, where the most important factor is power rather than party loyalty.
I think he gets a golden run, Josh. Not only is Maher a TDS sufferer, I think he benefits from the bigotry of low expectations conservatives have these days for the left, because occasionally, yes, he'll say something that's anti-woke. He'll point out some sensible point of view, something the right has been saying for years, and we all stand around and clap like he's said something profound, even though it's really just repeating what has been said by the other side of politics for a long time. But as Megyn Kelly exposed in her chat with Maher, this dude is in a bubble, profoundly ignorant of stuff that he pretends to be passionate about, like election denial.
Hillary Clinton, of course, is the original election denier. I'm sure you voted for her in 2016.
Well, she's not an election denier.
She absolutely was the OG election denier.
First of all, she came out before the sun had risen to concede the election to Trump.
And then spent the next 4 years saying he was illegitimate. He was an illegitimate president.
Okay, well, first of all, she didn't say he was an illegitimate.
Yes, she did.
You tell me exactly what she said.
She said those exact words repeatedly.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president.
The right-wing speakers in this piece are basically giving Bill Maher the opposite of a compliment. On the one hand, they respond, okay, fine. The dude has great reach. He has a loyal fan base, has won several Emmys, and has been in the industry for a very long time. But don't take it personally because they add a warning right away. Even if he sometimes mocks the woke populace, he still uses the same old left-wing talking points. It's like that friend who occasionally agrees with you, and everyone acts like they've changed entirely. But underneath, the shirt remains unchanged. This is how Maher is being positioned. The issue is that he is still endorsing the same elite narratives that conservatives find repugnant, even though some of his statements may sound conservatively aligned. Ultimately, this is more about how cultural influencers shape public opinion, sometimes without even recognizing it, than it is about Maher himself.
What do you say to that? Because, yes, amongst other left-wing commentators and TV hosts, he's far more sensible, far more balanced. But at the end of the day, he has bought all these propaganda about Trump and hasn't bothered to check some of that information, including things like things that have been debunked for years that the left still are pushing these to this day.
Rita, look, I am not a Bill Maher apologist. I'll be very candid with you. I don't even watch his show, actually. But having said that, I've had a number of friends here who have been on his show there. And I can tell you that based on what I've heard from those who have been there on the show with him, some of them have actually tried to talk in private off camera. I won't name names. I won't kind of get into that. But some of them have actually tried to talk about Trump with him off camera there. And they here, there, and everywhere hit a block because he seems to just genuinely have a mental block when it comes to Donald Trump there. He has a very hard time getting over that. Even if he is sympathetic to a lot of his policies there, he's definitely sympathetic to a lot of what Trump says when it comes to the dangers of radical Islam. He's very pro-Israel. I mean, like for free speech. I mean, there's some stuff that he genuinely seems to disagree with the modern left on, but he has a massive holdup when it comes to Donald Trump. That's probably what Donald Trump is thinking and taking this meeting, actually. He's like, okay, this guy's a massive critic of mine. He's got a gargantuan platform. Maybe I can bring him in and like, you know, let's get a McDonald's Happy Meal or something, and I'll show him like I'm not a fascist, that I'm not straight out of Munich in 1933 or something there. Again, maybe not the greatest odds in the world of succeeding there, but I'm just not necessarily seeing the downside here.
Thank you to everyone who watched. If you have read this far, you are now formally a member of the Smart Squad. One ferocious viewpoint at a time, we will be analyzing politics, media, and culture together. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.